Let's now have a look at handling mouse events in JavaScript. So it's all focused on mouse events in JavaScript. These are the events that we're going to look at. So you're handling mouse events in JavaScript. Let's look at the most common ones. So when you click on something, anything in a web page, that will trigger an on-click event, and that's probably the most common mouse event. There are others as well, so here's a few. So one is on mouse down, and that gets triggered when you put your mouse over something, and then you put your finger down on the mouse button, but you have not yet let go of the button. So finger down on the button, that is a mouse down, all right? The other side of that is mouse up. So in other words, first one, mouse down, finger down on the mouse. Second one, mouse up, is when you let go of the mouse. So mouse up follows mouse down, really. In fact, you can think of the on-click idea as this one followed by this one, right? So on-click is basically on mouse down followed by on mouse up. Now, most people don't really care too much about these. They just focus on click. It's simple. So let's have a look at a simple example of using click, right? On click. So we have some text here. Click on the best social network. And then it shows 3 pictures. 1, 2, 3. One is for Facebook. One is for Google+. One is for Twitter. It's just some fun. And then if you click on this picture, it runs this second function, bad choice, which shows a window. I don't agree. Click on the second picture, it runs the same function. I don't agree. Click on the third picture, it runs a different function. Good choice. I do agree. Good choice. Very simple. Let's run this, and just to illustrate the on-click event handler. So let's run the first picture. Click on the first picture. I don't agree. Simple message. Click on the second picture. Triggers the event, which triggers the code. I don't agree. Click on the third picture, and it triggers the event, which then triggers the code. Good choice. Okay, very simple, but a nice illustration of on-click. So some more mouse events. On mouse over, when you put your mouse over an object in the web page. On mouse out, when you move your mouse away from that object in the web page. 2 events there. Let's illustrate that with quite a clever little example here. So we load this into the browser. What do we see? All we see is a div, right? Remember, a div is basically a rectangle area. And so what do we have in our div? We have some text. Move your mouse over this, and then move it out. Very simple. All right, and then we've got some behavior, which is all doing something clever. Let's run the example to illustrate it. So here is the example. As you can see, a message, move your mouse over this, then move it out. So let's move our mouse over it. Boom, triggers a change a background color. And then move it out, that triggers another event, which does something different. So again, mouse over event, it does something, mouse out event does something else. Okay, mouse over, mouse out. Mouse over, mouse out. That's a nice, simple way to get some kind of basic interaction in a web page. Right, so here's the code. Let's look at it in a bit more detail. So we have our div, and then we've given it a name. Doesn't matter what the name is. We've got some text inside the div, which we saw in the web page. And then we've got some styling, and we've got 2 events. So let's look at the event handling, because that's what we're focused on. So you move your mouse over the div, then it will run some code, and it will say change color function up here, and it passes a parameter to it. The parameter is red. That comes up here, red. So move your mouse over the div, then it runs the function and it gives it red. If you take your mouse away from the div, then it runs the same function, but it gives it a different parameter, yellow. That comes up here, and then we use it down here. And what do we do with it? We use getElementById, and we find that div in memory, and then we change the style, what part of the style, the background color, so that it is the parameter that is given to it, all right? So we give it red here. Okay, red comes down here. Give it yellow. All right, yellow comes down here, and we set the background color of that div according to what you do with the div. Move your mouse over, move your mouse out. Now, what about this style thing here? Basically, it's just setting the width, the height, the position using top and left, and the size of the text, basic style properties, typical things. And also, don't forget, we need position absolute so that the browser doesn't set the position of the div, we set the position of the div, okay? But still, it's a nice little example of on mouse over and on mouse out. All right, so that's the end of our exploration of mouse events in JavaScript.